Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another FPL video on the channel. And in today's one, we're going to be rating your FPL Game Week 1 teams. So this is the first team that we have for the video today, and it was sent in through Instagram by imane_lock. And guys, looking at this team, I think it's a really good, strong, solid team. I'm not going to lie. And the main talking point that you'll notice is that there is no Erling Haaland of this draft. And I'm not going to lie, I don't mind it at all because the rest of the team is really strong. It's got a strong defense, a strong midfield, and a very strong attack in my opinion. Yeah, I really do like it, and it's hard to sort of pinpoint any negative areas about this team, but I'll start off by talking about the 4.5 rotation you've got there, because I can see you've got Mikalenko and then you've got Aina from Nottingham Forest on the bench. Now for me, I personally prefer the Everton and Fulham rotation, so I personally would go for Robinson on the bench as opposed to going for Aina, because as you guys can see by this graphic on here, Everton and Fulham really do have a good fixture rotation from a defensive point of view, and it's something that I've spoke about in a lot of my recent videos. I'm a big fan of this rotation. I really wanted to find a team that could rotate well with Everton because they've got some amazing fixtures, and defensively we saw last season how good they were, and Fulham is that team that can rotate well with Everton, so that's why I do like that rotation. So maybe that's something you could improve. Again, you don't have to take my advice or you don't have to take my opinions at all. You don't have to do it, but it's definitely something to consider in my opinion. So that's probably one area that I think could possibly an improvement. Another thing I want to talk about is no Trent Alexander-Arnold, and for me that's another thing. I feel like you really should attack Liverpool's fixtures to start the season. Yes, I know, that they've not got Jurgen Klopp anymore. They're under a new manager. They're going to be playing a new style of football, but I think Liverpool's fixtures are simply too good to ignore. And in pre-season, Liverpool have showed, they've showed signs of looking like still a very solid and strong team. And because of that, I think you should be willing to go with someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, because we know he's a world-class creator. He gets goals, he gets assists, he's an attacking fullback. And, because he's so attacking and he's got such easy fixtures, there's potential for really mega hauls in the first 6 game weeks, man, because when you combine his attacking threat with the chance of getting clean sheets, I think Trent is a great option. So for me, I would definitely work a way or try and find a way to fit Trent Alexander-Arnold in, but how you do that is the biggest question, and it's kind of hard to find out where you can get that extra million from. But I think it's definitely worth it trying to figure out where you can get that 1 million from. I mean, maybe it could mean downgrading Palmer to a Son at 10 million and then downgrading a Hudson-Odoi to a Rodgers at 5 million. It could mean possibly downgrading Watkins to maybe even Chris Wood. So for example, Ollie Watkins is 9 million, Chris Wood is 6 million. So what you could do is downgrade Watkins to Wood, that leaves you with 3 million, and then you can then upgrade Saliba to Trent, and then you also have a remaining 2 million after that, and then you could even upgrade someone like Hudson-Odoi to Anthony Gordon at 7.5. So essentially you'd be taking out Watkins, Hudson-Odoi and Saliba for Trent, Gordon and Chris Wood. Again, that's something you could do. Again, you don't have to listen to what I'm saying, but it's just a suggestion. But yeah, for me, I really do think Trent is a player that you should definitely consider starting with. But other than that, man, I think the draft is so solid. It's such a strong draft, and I do like it a lot. I'm just trying to sort of open up your mind, open up your brain a little bit, and give you some alternative options to see if you like it. But yeah, man, it's a really solid draft. And another thing I want to talk about quickly is Robert Sanchez. I'm not really sure if you should go with him. I think it's a bit risky, and I know it's very nice to have a Chelsea goalkeeper, but they've just simply got too many options, guys. They've got 3 very good keepers, and whoever starts the season has a good chance of getting dropped if they don't perform well. So just because of that, I really want to stay away from Chelsea goalkeepers. For me, I personally would go for either Miguel from Nottingham Forest, or maybe a Henderson from Crystal Palace, or even a Flecken. But at the moment, I'm not going to lie, the 4.5 goalkeepers, I feel like we don't have enough information to actually guarantee who's going to be starting. Yeah, it just seems a bit risky with the 4.5s at the moment. But for me, my top 2 4.5s would probably be Henderson and Miguel from Nottingham Forest. But yeah, that's all I would have to say in regards to this team. Other than that, I really do love it. You've got Isak in there, you've got Muniz in there, you've got Saka, Palmer, Salah, Hudson-Odoi, Saliba, Mikalenko, Gvardiol. Bro, honestly, this team, in my opinion, is very solid. So for me, I would rate it a solid. I think I'd have to give it like a an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I really do like it. So on to the next draft, and this one was sent in through Instagram by R1 Skelton. And guys, we do have a Haaland draft. Let me know down below in the comments, guys. Do you think Erling Haaland is worth going with that 15 million? Because one thing I will say is, currently at the time of recording, we got 2 weeks until the Game Week 1 deadline, and I feel like most people are saying that Haaland is too expensive, but I feel like people are going to start to get nervous and very scared as we get closer to the deadline, and I think they're going to bottle it, and I think they're going to put Erling Haaland in their team. But for me, I'm like always going up and down in terms of whether I think Haaland is worth that 15 million, and I still don't know if I'm going to, you know, go into Game Week 1 with Haaland in my team. But nonetheless, we know Erling Haaland is going to score goals, so you've got him in your team, which is nice. You've got him partnered up with Isak as well, which I like a lot. I think Isak is absolutely essential, guys. If you don't have Isak in your Game Week 1 team, what are you doing? Seriously, guys, I think Isak should be in everyone's FPL team, man. For me, he's absolutely essential, and he's definitely going to be my captain as well in Game Week 1 against Southampton at home. I think that's a brilliant fixture. But I like the midfield a lot. You've got Heung-min Sonaldo in there, and I'm not going to lie, I think Heung-min Sonaldo, guys, is going under the radar for me. I think Son, we know, is one of the best, if not the best finisher in the league. Alright, and currently this man is only 11.6% owned, and that's why even for my own personal draft, I'm strongly considering Son, because I feel like that ownership at 11.6% is very low. The fixtures for Tottenham are also pretty decent, especially in the first 2 games. Leicester away, Everton at home, and then after that it is Newcastle away, which is a fixture where he can score in. He's going to score goals. We know he's a goal scorer, so for me, I think he's a really good pick, and he's almost pretty much a differential pick, to be honest. 10% or 11% ownership isn't high at all. So I'm really a big fan of that Son pick. I think that's got, you know, Son is someone with a very high ceiling. So yeah, I like that pick a lot. Now the midfield is good, but I've noticed you have no Liverpool, and I think that could be your weakest point about this team. That could be your weak area, in my opinion, about this team. There is no Liverpool, and for me, you have to have at least 1 or 2 Liverpool assets to start the season. I mean, they've got some of the best fixtures in out of any team in the league to start the season. So for me, I feel like you need a Liverpool attacker. You need that Liverpool cover. And like I said when talking about the last draft, I would recommend trying to fit Trent in as well. But you've got no Salah, you've got no Trent, and for me, you at least need one of those. So I don't know where you get the funds to do that. It might mean downgrading Saka, and downgrading Eze. I don't know. It might mean downgrading Saka and downgrading Gvardiol, or maybe downgrading Ray, who you've got in goal. But for me, you really need to find a way to fit in Salah. In fact, it might even mean taking out Son. And I've just bigged up Son. I've said how good he is, but I think Salah is also really good, and he's got even better fixtures than Son. So it's really tough, but I would definitely think of a way to include Salah and possibly Trent if you can, because Liverpool have such good fixtures. And yes, I know we don't know how Liverpool are going to play, but for me, the fixtures are too good to turn down. So if I was to give this team a final rating, I would probably give it a rating of 7 out of 10. Obviously, you've got Haaland, Saka, Son, which is really strong, I'm not going to lie. But for me, the lack of Liverpool coverage that you have is a big downside, because I think Liverpool assets have potential to really explode at the start of the season. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. So on to the next one, and this draft was sent in by Bobby F1213. Just want to say a huge shout out to everyone for sending their teams in. It helps me make these videos, so thank you guys very much. I do appreciate it. But moving on, guys, so it's a 3-5-2 formation, sorry, and of course there is no Erling Haaland once again. It seems to be very split within the FPL community on you know, whether you should go with Haaland or not, but I quite like that. It means that there's going to be a lot of different teams this season, which is very nice in my opinion. But you've got someone in there who I've not seen a lot, and that's Dominic Solanke. For me personally though, I'm not too sure if Solanke is worth putting in at the moment. I mean, at the price of 7.5 million, I think he's a bit too expensive. I think there's players that are cheaper at 6 million, like Rodrigo Muniz and Chris Wood, that are better options in my opinion. They've got much better fixtures than Solanke. So for me, I probably wouldn't go with Solanke. I think at 7.5 million, he's just too expensive. And like I said, I prefer Rodrigo Muniz from Fulham and Chris Wood from Nottingham Forest. I think the fixtures for Bournemouth aren't the best. I mean, he's got Nottingham Forest away, Newcastle at home, Everton away, then Chelsea at home, and then Liverpool away. It's a bit you know, it's not the best. And when you've got someone like Rodrigo Muniz or Chris Wood with much better fixtures, like for example, Chris Wood's got Bournemouth at home, Southampton away, Wolves at home, so, you know, much better fixtures than Solanke. I don't think, you know, Solanke is worth an extra 1.5 million. So for me, I would downgrade Solanke to either Chris Wood or someone like Rodrigo Muniz. So that's the first thing I would probably do with this team. And with the defense, I've noticed that you've gone for centre back. So you've got Van Dijk and Van de Ven. Now, obviously Van de Ven is 4.5 million. For me, I wouldn't go anywhere near Van de Ven. Personally, I wouldn't go anywhere near the Spurs defense unless it was Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro is the one with the attacking threat, so I don't mind him too much. But if we're judging Spurs of how they played last season, nah. For me, the Spurs defense isn't the way to go, especially the centre backs. I mean, Spurs last season hardly got any clean sheets. They were conceding goals for fun. You know, they conceded a lot of shots on goal. Yeah, it's for me, the Spurs defense is a team to stay away from. So like I said, I'm going to recommend that 4.5 rotation to you again. The Fulham and Everton rotation, defensive rotation, is something I've talked about a lot. I really do like it. So for me, I would take out Van de Ven, I would take out Konza, and I would swap those two for Mikalenko and Robinson, because like I said, bro, I think that rotation is so good. So you've got Virgil van Dijk in this team, which I really do like, because Liverpool have some nice fixtures to start the season. However, I think you've got an easy route here to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think you can easily get Trent Alexander-Arnold. Like I said earlier, I think you should downgrade Solanke to either Chris Wood or Rodrigo Muniz at 6 million. And then that would leave you with an extra 1.5, and then you can go straight from Van Dijk to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then you'd even have a remaining 0.5 in the bank as well. So for me, I definitely would consider that, because I think Trent obviously is a better option than Van Dijk. He's on set pieces, he takes corners, free kicks, he's an attacking fullback, and he's got potential of clean sheets of course as well. So for me, I think Trent is a better option than Van Dijk, and definitely worth the extra 1 million. And then with the extra 0.5 million you've got remaining, you could actually upgrade Barco, who you've got on the bench, to a 4.5 defender, maybe someone from Nottingham Forest like Murillo, and then you could swap Dan Burn out for a different 4.5 defender like Anderson from Crystal Palace. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace also have quite a good fixture rotation. As you guys can see by the fixture on screen, if you were to rotate Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest defenders, you get some really nice favourable home fixtures where you would probably expect them to get some clean sheets. And defensively last season, Nottingham Forest put up some really good defensive numbers as well. So yeah, that's what I probably would do with the extra remaining 0.5 million that you would have after upgrading Van Dijk to Trent, and then downgrading Solanke to Chris Wood or Rodrigo Muniz. I think Eze also is quite a good pick. I mean, some people doubt whether he will be able to perform as well without the likes of Elise at Crystal Palace, but for me, I think Eze is a quality player within himself, and I still think he will manage to get goals and assists in this Palace side. And Palace do really look good under their new manager Oliver Glasner, and also their new signings like Kamada are doing quite well in pre-season as well. So I think Eze, if he does stay at Crystal Palace, is definitely a good option. If he does move to a different team though, I don't know if he would be as good as an option, depending on what team he did move to. But yeah, if Eze stays at Palace, I think he's a good pick. He's on penalties, he's on set pieces, we know he's going to start games and get 90 minutes, so as long as he remains fit, I think under Oliver Glasner, Eze is a good option. So I do like that. Yeah, I just wanted to speak about Eze because I know some people do have their doubts on whether he'll be able to perform like he did last season without the likes of Elise there. But yeah, for me, I think he's a good option. So if I was to give this team a final rating, I'd have to give it, I think, a 6 out of 10. For me, I think Solanke, I don't really think he's worth the 7.5 to start the season, and I'm not really keen on the Newcastle defense or the Spurs defense at all. So yeah, I'd have to give it a 6 out of 10. But that's going to be it for today's rating your teams video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Only 2 more weeks now until the game week 1 deadline, so yeah man, you guys better start locking in them teams right now. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.